Today we're going to talk about how to address Christianity's branding problem in the West. Look at these two meals and tell me which is better, because the truth is they're exactly the same.
The only difference is that we ask the kitchen in this cafe to present one meal well while making a mess of the other.
And this is the kind of problem Christianity has in the West. Public media have reported on the bad stuff for years, but not often on the good.
It's been a bit like having a picture of this meal in the window of the cafe as an advertisement, and it hasn't worked well. So how could we go from being perceived as this back to this?
Well, we obviously need to be consistent in our example of love and good deeds and to pray. But a key area for growth, which many churches recognise, is that we need to find a way to engage more in the conversations of our societies around us. And that's what this video series is about.
And this first video in this new series is to remind us of the positive effects Christianity has on people's lives and on societies, because this is good news for people, not bad.
For example, are you aware of the uniquely positive influence the Christian faith has had on people's lives?
Tell me.
A landmark study by Richard Reframing of Harvard found that young people who were active in church were more likely to finish school, avoid out-of-wedlock pregnancies, keep a job, and stay out of trouble with the law.
In terms of preventing crime, some studies have even found that church attendance has more of an impact than family structure. So while growing up in a fatherless home can have an effect, church attendance can balance it.
For prisoners and drug addicts, did you know that faith-based approaches to helping people break free of addictions consistently succeed at a higher level than others? For example, regular attendance at a prison fellowship Bible study has been shown to cut reoffending by 2/3, which is no small amount.
It's also known that those with higher levels of religious commitment have lower levels of depression and stress. As one example, those who attend church are 4 times less likely to commit suicide.
In addition, their marriages have a better chance of staying together. They're about 5 times more generous to charity and 2 times as generous in their volunteering.
And regarding health, they have less health problems and also live longer.
And in case we're not getting the point, if you were told these improved outcomes were going to be your future or that of your children, this would be good news, not bad.
Yeah, absolutely. But the type of good Christianity brings is even broader than this, because Christianity is known to transform societies for good and in a way that is again truly unique. For example, without Christianity, our society wouldn't be as charitable as it is.
In fact, one historian I read of noted that he couldn't find a single example of a charitable organisation existing to help the poor prior to Christ. While in New Zealand alone today, we have more than 25,000 charitable organisations. And what we're saying is this is because of Christianity and the way it's influenced our cultural way of thinking.
Prior to Christ, there were no hospitals to help the poor and needy. Well, after him, and specifically because of him, they came about. The reason behind why we give education even to poor people are exactly the same.
The only reason the slave trade was stopped in England was because of the initiatives started by followers of Jesus. And do you know how our entire society today believes in the equality of races? That's why.
The same goes for our beliefs on the equality of women and men too. The women's rights movement started as a specifically Christian movement until the values it promoted were eventually embraced by our entire society.
And that's also true for our freedoms of speech and religion, our belief in human rights, and more.
So, while there have been terrible things that have happened in the name of God's church when corrupted leaders abused powers, like in the Crusades or Inquisitions, an honest assessment reveals that the real problem wasn't Christianity, but instead the fact that these leaders weren't following Christian teachings. A quick look at Jesus' teachings shows this, and there are historians across the globe who confirm that Christianity really has brought more good to this planet than any other thing.
So why are we Christians sometimes quiet about our faiths?
Is it because there's opposition and religious prejudice?
Well, there is some, but it's because of the way we're being perceived. How about we change this by learning how to engage more in these conversations while telling stories about the good stuff?
Because Christianity is good news. Let's get this message known.